Hello and welcome to Galaxy Advisors. The purpose of this video is to provide you an example of how to use the Condor tool Taxo. Everything begins with your area of interest, and what Taxo is going to do is to help you broaden your vocabulary or websites around which you can search for your area of interest. In essence, the Taxo tool enables a user to construct a taxonomy or hierarchical categorization of terms from 5 Condor databases, including web, email, wiki evolution, video, and Twitter. This enables the user to identify potential relevant areas for additional investigation. Note that Condor Facebook and wiki search databases are not included because they use URLs as nodes. So the Taxi hierarchical classification takes your area of interest and helps you explore the Wikipedia categories that might have relevant names or articles for you also to use. Web names, email, video, wiki evolution names, Twitter, and so on. So that basically is going to help you expand the vocabulary that is around your area of interest. Now, those area of interest will be then graphed in hierarchical pie chart that gives you an idea of how many of those terms are percentage-wise in that category, and you can also map the resulting hierarchical classification against your existing data sets to see the degree of overlap. So Taxo is really a two-step process. The first is using the 1 degree collector or web collector with degree of separation set to 1, and then use the tool Taxo to extract Wikipedia categories, nouns, and names. So first thing, let's look at what is the difference between a 1 degree collector and the web collector. They're really identical except in 2 areas. The 1 degree collector has 2 restrictions. Is always selected to 1 degree of separation and does not have an option for the Bing geocode coordinates. So if you look at the 2 forms, you'll see they're identical except that 1 degree collector does not have a degree of separation option. It's preset to 1, and it doesn't have the Bing coordinates. So if you really need the Bing coordinates, I suggest you use the web collector and just set the degree of separation from its default to 2 and just reduce it down to degree of separation of 1. Now, what is degree of separation? Well, again, degree of separation is the number of steps from your query term to the resulting search. So for an example of 1, your query term says it's exactly 1 step away, or those pages or resulting URLs are exactly 1 step away from the query. Now in the web collector, its default is 2 steps. So you have the pages, the 1 step away where it's going to find your term or URL, and then it's going to go out another step and say what websites are connected to that first degree. So the important point is, if you go out to the 2nd degree, your term may or may not be on that 2nd degree web page or URL. So that's why we restrict it to 1 degree to ensure that your term is on that page, the 1st degree page separation. So Taxo is a 2-step process again, and we're going to look at the first step here using in our example, the 1 degree collector. So again, start Galaxy Advisors, start Condor. You're going to insert the monthly key if it's the first day of the month, which is good for the entire month. The host remains local host and user is root. If you created a MySQL password, you enter it here. If not, if you left it blank, just leave it blank and click OK. Condor, of course, runs both on a Mac, and this is what the screen display is on a Mac or a PC version. The functionality is identical. So we're going to start off with the first tool. Click on Tools, and then click on 1 degree collector. Then the form is going to pop up, and this form has 7 sections. The 6 sections in blue represent the options that I'll go through in setting. The section 7 in orange really displays the kind of status messages as the form is processing. In the upper left in green, in the lower right, are both the database and the close and start buttons. So let's go through this one area at a time. The area in green in the upper left, we're going to click on New and enter a new database name. A form is going to pop up, and in this case I'm entering Telecare 1 degree. Then click OK. The important thing again for a database name, it should not contain any spaces or special characters. And after you create that, you're going to see at the very bottom it's going to say connected to that database and give you the name. Now, in the section 1, there are 6 basically search options. We're going to select the Google search as the beginning. An important thing to note again, Yahoo charges. That's why the $ is there. Bing, as of August 1st, is also charging now for kind of a high number of searches. So check on the Bing, depends on how often you're doing your Bing searches. And so there's a default free lower level, but also for high volume you're going to now be charged. Another important thing to know is when you're using one of the search tools, the search site or text name is going to have a suffix appended to it in the database. So if you use Google search, you're going to have appended to that _depth_Google AJX. If you use the Yahoo search, you're going to have _depth_Yahoo appended, and so on. So just so that you know later on when you go look at your databases, you can recall what search tool was used. Now we're going to enter in the section 2 is the query, so enter in Telecare in our example. For the 3 Google web tools, you can use an AND or an ampersand to separate the terms and use it as a more sophisticated search. For example, you could say Detroit and collaboration and arts and October and 2011 to look for all of those together. Or you can use the ampersand sign. For Bing, it uses a different syntax. For the Bing, you need to use a plus in front of the first 2 terms to act as a Boolean and, but only for 2 terms, such as plus Detroit space collaboration. Now, in the query tool also, you can actually include, if you include a site name such as quote www in the site name in quotes, it will find the URL on a page, not the actually hard link that actually links to web pages together, but just the name. So that's another tip for you if you want to see if your particular site, particular search has this text on it. Now, the third area of the 1 degree is the enter the URL query. So in this case, I'm going to enter www.nih.gov, standing for the National Institute of Health. Section 4, the operation restrict by date, is really still under construction, so you can skip this at this point. The Condor tool, Bing, again, has the option number 5. If you select the Bing or Bing News Search, it will activate the Bing market, and you can click on the drop-down box to select your particular market. To find out what's the key, go to www.bing.com/worldwide.aspx, that URL, and that will give you the key to those abbreviations of those world markets. In the section 6 is results of top. 6.1, that tells you the upper limit of the number of search results. The default is 20. Here in this case, I increased it to 100 because I want to have a large, expansive look for the term on Telecare. 6.2, if you check that, it's going to collect the content. That takes more time. It's also important to note that it collects everything. It kind of screen scrapes the web, including navigation commands and information which may not be relevant to your search term or web URL. So in this case, I'm not going to check that. So at this point, we have the Google search selected. I've put in the query Telecare. The URL I've added nih.gov. I select the results for the top 100, and I'm going to click Start. Then in the message window, the area number 7, you're going to see Starting Collector. It's going to tell you the results of the number of nodes and pages. So at this point, we just can click Close for the form. So we've completed now the first step. We used the 1 degree collector to collect the information around Telecare. I could have used a web collector and set the degree of separation for 1. And if I had, again, a Bing coordinates, I could have put that on the web collector. Now the next one we're going to use is the Taxo tool to extract the Wikipedia categories. So again, this is what the Taxo tool looks like, the form. And at this particular form, we're going to go through each section to help explain how it works. There's really three sections. The first section is the file database help command in the upper left. The second section is really the existing taxonomy, which will actually display the terms that are in a taxonomy. And the third section is really kind of your working section for the Taxo tool and provides some temporary storage and refinement for extracting the Wikipedia categories, nouns from the database that you have previously searched and collected, and if you have installed the extract names, the cool people additional databases, you can actually extract proper names. So let's go through it one step at a time. We're going to click File, New Taxonomy, and that's going to create a blank taxonomy. And then we're going to click Database and then Open, and I'm going to open that Telecare 1 degree database we just completed and click OK. Then at this point, here's really the three main extractions of the taxonomy tool. 3.1 is to extract data from the Wikipedia categories. So in this case, in the Telecare article, I searched. If you scroll down, every article in Wikipedia has categories assigned or hierarchical categorization, and I'm going to select telehealth, which was where the Telecare article was classified under, and you can also see the other categories that you could explore. Now, for a little bit more about the Wikipedia categories, see wikipedia.org wiki special : categories, and it'll explain the major categories that are used to categorize Wikipedia articles. 3.2 is to extract facts, which is really nouns from a database, and that gives you the ability then to selectively add nouns to your taxonomy. And section 3.3, extract names from the database, enables a user to extract names from any one of your databases, but requires three cool people MySQL databases. So I'm going to take care of that in another video. I'll cover 3.1 and 3.2 in this video. So we're going to click extract data from Wikipedia categories. Again, I've already pre-looked up under my article in the Wikipedia that Telecare is under the category of telehealth. So I'm going to enter in the category of telehealth and click fetch. It's going to come back and give me a message already reached level 2, and I'll say yes, continue. And then it's going to come back and say here are the categories of the articles that were found under the telehealth category. And you can modify it, replace text, and so on here, this window. I'm just going to accept the default categories that came back and click Apply Tree. Now at this point, and then it puts those categories into that section 3 on the form. And this form is really kind of a temporary holding area until you drag selected terms into the area 2 on the left. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select these categories, and then I'm going to drag them over to the area 2 window. A little plus green is going to show up in release, and then those categories will be added to that section of the window. Next, I'm going to double click on the word taxonomy there in the upper left corner to expand the listing, and you'll be able to see everything now is dragged over. I'm also going to then click on the taxonomy name to edit the name and change the name to telehealth. So now if I click on file and then I click on save, you'll see at the very bottom it's currently temporary area. And then after I click on save, we'll come back and see at the very bottom says taxonomy is persisted or is being saved. So then on that left hand side, these are actually the categories and the subcategories. I could click on rehabilitation to expand that category for another level, or Health Informatics and eHealth Association to see those. So now I'm going to extract facts or the nouns from the existing database. So again, if I clicked on that, I'm going to get a window and it's going to populate it with the nouns have been harvested from that database, the Telecare 1 Degree database. I'm going to click Apply Checked Items. I'm going to highlight and drag those again to the left panel and click Save. And here then on there's the items under what's called facts now, which are the names. I've dragged that over. You can see there's a facts in the existing taxonomy, and I've clicked Save to save that. For the section 3.2 extract names, you really requires the 3 cool people databases, the blacklist, the names database, and the whitelist, which I'll cover in the next Taxo example 2. So at this point, we've completed the 2 steps. We've used the 1 degree collector to collect information around my topic, which was telecare. And then I used a Taxo to extract the Wikipedia categories for the nouns. And for the names, I'd have to do that in a next video. So at this point now, let's use the file command, open database, go back and open telecare 1 degree. And you'll see that you'll have 2 data sets available, telecare and the NIH Gov, which again both has the suffix appended to it, so you know it came from the Google search tool. Now hold the shift key down and select each of the data sets, and then you'll notice that each time you do it, it tells you the number of records that are contained in that data set below. Then we're going to click View Hierarchical Pie Chart Now View and Prepare Pie Chart View. And then it's going to show you what taxonomies you have available. I have this telehealth, so click. You can actually do have multiple ones. Every time you create a new taxonomy, it actually increments the data set number on it. At this point, I'm selecting telehealth and clicking Start. And then when it's done, a little blue line will flash below it. Just click Close. Now I'm going to click View Hierarchical Pie Chart and Show Pie Chart View. And then at this point, it's going to give me a pie chart. It's going to be in red. It's going to say, hey, 100% of this is telehealth. That was my taxonomy. And if you double click on that on the red circle, you can get the details, which will show you the one on the right. And then it's going to break out that hierarchical pie chart into the subcategories and tell you percent of the number of terms that are into that. So if you move your cursor over a slice, you'll see the percent. If you click on it, it'll highlight that. So now we're going to go back and click File, Open Database again, and select Telecare 1 degree and click OK. And you'll notice this time that there's a new hierarchical data set here that we used. And what I want you to do next is to hold the shift key down and select all 3 data sets. And again, below the line will tell you the number of records in each one. And then we're going to use the View Communication 2-step process to create the communication view. And I'm going to select Static. And we're going to be able to see the overlap between that hierarchical and my other databases. So we're going to say click View Communication, Create Communication View. And this time, when the form comes up, Create Communication View, I'm going to select View All Selected Datasets, and I'm going to filter by attribute score and click OK. You're going to get a temp message that will appear, and then you're going to get a filter by attribute, and please insert the minimum counter 1. This will say I want to see a 1 across all 3 data sets so that I can see the overlap. And then click Start Filtering. And when it's done filtering, just click Close. Now I'm going to click View Communication, Static View Communication. I'm going to select Plain, No Waiting. And since I only have 14 nodes, not very many, I'm just going to click OK. It's going to draw the map there. The square node is my taxonomy name. And to view the names, click View, Show Labels, click Name. Then you'll see a map. And now you can actually then put a quantitative assessment on it by, say, resize by counter. And here then in the center there in the square bracket is the taxonomy name, and then those are the hierarchical tree branches here that we have with a size surrounded by the quantitative counterweight. At this point, you could have gone back and selected without selecting for filtering, and you would see the three separate data sets. Here again, the square will give you the taxonomy name and your search terms, and then you can explore those as well. So in conclusion, really, the next steps could be revise a taxonomy with other databases. I could have searched the web for telehealth, telemedicine, so on, done similar searches for Twitter. If I had a particular email that I had a group using telecare or telemedicine that I was involved with, I could subset that email and just search on for those terms. I could search a video on telecare, telehealth, telemedicine, so on, and use that database to further refine my taxonomy. And you could use Wiki Evolution to further refine it for other articles in Wikipedia. And then the second step could be for a next step is to install the Cool People MySQL databases and extract the names from the database. You can use Naviget to explore there in your databases using the Taxo tool. Taxo tool, you get the Condor taxonomy, and if you use Navigate, you can see the tables there. You can see the taxonomies that we created and the taxonomy IDs. So that's an introduction for the Taxo or taxonomy form and how to expand your vocabulary and websites and interest around your area of interest. So again, that's the hierarchical classification with the possibility of these 5 other databases, including the Wikipedia categories, to get that hierarchical pie chart and a resulting communication view. So I hope that gives you another brief example of using the tool for Condors on the Taxo or taxonomy tool. Enjoy.